Ahoy, mateys! 'Tis I, Captain Horatio Honeyflakes, and I be here to tell you about me newest crowdfunding campaign. The adventures continue with me crew, the Mighty Mascots, in issues 7, 8, and 9. Just focus your looking glass on the amazing artwork of Ian Warianto and Anton Bondi. Me crew, the Mighty Mascots, are up against some scurvy scallywags, and we need ye help to defeat them. There be a bounty of exclusive treasure, only available here, where X marks the spot. I spy a huge coffer of bonuses and stretch goals on the horizon. Then please consider pledging so we can continue these adventures with the weirdest crew I ever had the pleasure of sailing with. Mascots Unleashed!
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascots. With me as always, Johnny C., creator of Sartana and Surrounded by Death. What's up, pal? How's it going?
Up, man? How's it going? I feel like it's been forever since I talked to you.
Doesn't it? Like the 2-week things kind of feels like it's been a long time, longer than it feels, like longer than it actually is.
Part of it is because we used to hang out a lot more often. And we both have very busy schedules, so we're not hanging out as frequently, And it's like, it feels like forever. I'm missing my Gleason time.
Well, we'll remedy that this weekend, right? We're gonna hang out. Probably go see Megan. Hopefully it's good. I don't know. I heard it's fun. So
I've heard good reviews.
So yeah, so I heard it's like weird, like Malignant. So I don't know.
I ended up liking Malignant. I've heard like both things on the sides for Malignant. I saw it after all the hype, and I still liked it. So I think
I like the first half. The second half, it kind of gets a little silly for me, but
I like that silliness though. I like how it you know what I mean? I don't know. It reminds me of like Drag Me to Hell, where it's it's horror. Yeah, it's a little goofy, which
like that Sam Raimi kind of aspect to it. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, exactly. That new Evil Dead trailer.
Yeah, that looks good. I did like the remake, so I'm curious about that. So there's a bunch of cool stuff coming up. So I can't wait. Hopefully, 2023 will be a good movie year.
Yeah, for sure.
How's your New Year's going? Did you I know we kind of briefly talked about it in the last show, but did you have any resolutions for 2023, or are you the type that just like you got? Like for me, I don't make resolutions because I kind of have goals that all the time that I just want to hit, or you know what I mean? So like
I'm also the type that if I feel like if I say something, I'm going to do this, it's jinxing yourself. I'm a little superstitious like that.
A little bit, yeah,
so,
I can see that.
While I have hopes for 2023, and I, one of my just main initiatives lately is just to get my shit together. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's hard when it's almost like a bear hibernating, right? Like you go into the winter and you start to like shut down and just not do anything. Where I'm trying to go the opposite route. I'm trying to get a lot of stuff done while it's quiet, So like, I've been lettering the books. I've been like, we've been starting the slow process of decluttering the house, which that's I'm starting to like gather stuff so I can put it on eBay, or Amy puts it on like Facebook Marketplace, or we just throw it out. Just stuff that we moved in. Like when we moved in, we took a bunch of stuff, and we have either it's been in storage the entire time we've been here, or it's just sitting around. It's like, why do we got this? Let's get it out of here, So we're doing that whole spring cleaning thing early,
Yeah, you get ahead of it, right? And then next thing you know, you have a lot more free time on your hands,
Yeah, free time and more room.
That's key. That's key.
So yeah.
Well, like during the winter, I organized a little bit of my office area, which also doubles as my bedroom.
Okay.
And I thought I really cleaned things up, and all I really did was just move clutter from one end to the other. It was less cluttered.
Yeah, that's what I kind of did a little bit in our basement, but sometimes you got to do that to kind of make room in other places that you can kind of play with, I guess, you know. So,
yeah. I did get myself a mic though, so I'm coming in extra hot. I'm coming in extra hot for you people where I'm normally loud and people say I shouldn't have a mic. I got a mic now, so you better plug your ears.
Turn that shit up to 11, right?
I went out to breakfast with you remember my friends from California?
Yeah,
we all went out for barbecue. They were out west. We all went to breakfast and we're all just talking, chatting.
This was last weekend.
This is this past weekend, and then as this little old lady, as she's leaving, she comes up, she goes, "Use your inside voice. You're too loud." And they're like, "What did she just tell you?" I'm like, "This happens once a month. Somebody's telling me I'm being too loud." It's like, what can I do? I'm built this way.
I like it though. I like when you're loud. I don't know. I personally enjoy it. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My coworkers hate me.
It just sucks if you have to tell somebody a secret, I think, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm a steel trap. I only keep secrets. I never tell them.
That's awesome. And also, like, everybody, our new night Tuesdays.
Tuesday nights, yep.
You know, like, it looks like, you know, I'm just looking at the number of people watching right now, and it's, you know, about our normal, I think, on Wednesday. Actually, Wednesday, I think we had a little more at this time, but it'll probably grow throughout the hour, you know. And then sure. Me and Johnny are planning in March to probably move the show, stay on Tuesday nights, but go to 8:30 p.m. because, you know, these live streams, we started off like trying to just do an hour show, and now it's becoming more of a 90-minute to 2-hour show. So we figured if we started earlier in the night, it won't be so bad on us the next day at work, because we're, you know, sometimes we're up on here till like 11, 12, and, you know, still get a shower and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, all that business.
Stay, you know, so starting in March, we're going to do that. We'll move to 8:30. And yeah, I don't know. We'll just playing around with the format and time a little bit, I guess, you know, so.
Yeah. But I mean, let's, you know, if you guys have a preference, or if you want to, you know, input some feedback, feel free, you know, make a comment on one of the videos or message us on Facebook or Instagram, or I'm predominantly on Twitter. So
yeah, same.
Check us out.
I'm everywhere, but I'm on Twitter throughout the day, whereas Facebook I only check maybe once in the morning. Mm-hmm. And then Instagram, it's like once a week, you know, if that. So it's like I can't be everywhere. So Twitter, I kind of focus on. Speaking of Twitter, like, oh my God, this week, Johnny, like sometimes I tweet out the most like ridiculous shit, you know, just like memes and stuff. And like,
I saw the last one there.
Dude, I'm constantly surprised by the stupid shit that like I'm talking about the Chippendale Rescue Rangers meme I sent out.
Blew my mind.
Dude, blew my mind. But also, like, I'm like, oh, you know, 10 people like this. The shit's gone viral. It's like, you know, it's like, it's so weird like that, you know, like that. I think the last time I checked it had 115,000 views, that tweet.
Wild.
Fucking crazy, right?
Yeah, like, man. Ride that wave while you got it.
Yeah, I know. It's like, but the good thing about
the campaign link under the tweet.
Yeah, you got to do that, right? Well, the thing is the best thing that happens because this is like the third time I've had a tweet go viral like that. The best thing that happens, I do get a lot of follows when that tweet's live. Like I'll probably pick up like 20 to 30 follows. I hope they stay with me, you know, but like, that's the benefit of that, I guess. Like, you know, it hasn't translated to sales per se, but you know, it's like my follower
count's is building your social base, right?
What's that?
You're building your social base. People are like, oh, this guy's witty. He shares fun memes, something I can steal and put on my page.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah. Him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, so it's kind of fun, you know. It always surprises me at what catches on, though, you know. So
yeah,
it's stuff that I think is going to have a huge amount of views, no one cares, and then the stuff that I think is going to have very little views, like is like fire. You know,
I don't know if
really
that's like
weird.
a generational thing.
I think it is. I think it is.
And like a Twitter gods thing. That's like, we'll bless them with this one today.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I think it could be. You know, it's really wild. But anyways, tonight's show's great. We got a couple great guests. Randall, who's been on the show before.
Whitaker Knox.
Yes, Whitaker Knox, and a new project which is done with AI, which is going to be, I definitely want to talk about with all you guys and the audience too. Get into that a little bit. But also like the Caleb, who's a first-time guest tonight. Really good guy. A little backstory about him. He messaged me on Twitter, I want to say like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And
it's crazy we're scheduling that far in advance.
Yeah, isn't it nuts? Well, he had messaged me just to ask me a couple of questions about comics and like conventions and things like that. So I said sure. So I jumped on like a Zoom thing, or I think I jumped on it with StreamYard with him, and we just chatted for about 15-20 minutes. So he's a newer creator, and he was like kind of coming to me for some advice, and so I gave him what I thought. But really good guy, and he's got like a book that's he did on Kickstarter, and he's I think doing the second issue. Very fun. It's like a funny kind of. It's called Bouncy Ball Man.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
that was the name. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to look into the new projects or the books that you sent over. Unfortunately, this week, but
I didn't either. I got to page through it a little bit. So unfortunately, at the time, like it came over. If it came over on the weekend, I would have had more time to look at it. But
but I'm looking forward to digging in with the audience and discovering a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Before we bring those guys in, though, I want to just share the campaign out again, as always. So Mighty Mascots 789, we're almost at 8,000. It's had some movement, which is nice, So it's at 7782. So hopefully, I'm hoping to have the figures by February. So
those figures will put you well past 10K.
That's what I'm hoping. Like I think if I could put that in there and sell like $2,000 worth, I think it'll be good. So
I agree.
And in the meantime,
we're still price point set yet for that.
Yeah. So we're making 8 figures, and it's going to be each set has 2 of them in there, and I'll probably sell each set for $10, and then the full set for $40. So, I'll put what I want to do is I want to put like one of the robots with one of the other characters in each set, and then the final set, like having Boxer Bear and somebody else. I forget what it is. I wrote it all down on what would be the good combination, to put which ones together, that kind of thing. That way people can pick and choose which ones they want, and then other people will probably just buy the entire set, So
right.
But you saw the pictures of the packaging. It looks really nice. With
so good.
I got to thank your cousin Roger for because he does those custom Hot Wheel cars.
Yep.
And he had those nice cases, and I was like, oh, that would be perfect,
Yep.
So we made all that up with the little card. It looks legit. It looks like you could have bought it off a toy shelf, which is really cool.
Yeah, Roger's thrifty like that. He can make He can make 99 cents look like $99.
That's great. It's a good skill to have, though.
He's so good. I owe a lot to cousin Roger to put me in the path of comics. So
and I love that he loves our show. He loves our show. He constantly watches. So shout out to Roger.
Him and Pam are a great support system. Pam, his wife.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And I look forward to seeing him at the convention with you this year, So
Yep, for sure.
So if you guys haven't backed Mighty Mascots, the description is in the video description below. So check that one out. And then so I without further ado, let me see. We have anyone in the audience tonight? We got Ara, as always.
Ara, thank you for watching,
man. Good to see you. My wife is in the audience as well.
Amy, see you on Friday.
She said she had to had here for the best show on tonight. Awesome.
Yes. Thank you.
And then she said,
we're up against a lot of competition.
Yeah, right. Though I'm really loving Guillermo del Toro. Not good. Yeah, Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Yep. I like the episode with Udo Kier. I believe it's Udo Kier.
We've only seen the first 4, but really good. Really good, strong anthology.
Yeah.
And then she said she liked Malignant. The second half was wacky fun. I like wacky horror.
Amen.
And she said you sound great, Johnny.
Oh, thank you. The camera's doing. I mean, the microphone's doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, right. No, it does sound good though. The mic sounds good. And I think I told you we bought you a couple Christmas presents, and I got you a mic. So
you should have done that.
I know. I'm gonna grab the receipt, and then you can take a look and see which one works better.
Save it. Return it. Return it. Keep the money. Put it towards the StreamYard subscription.
No. Well, you might like this one. The one I got, just to tell you a little bit before I bring these guys in, I got it because it functions. You can use it with a phone or with your computer. So I thought sometimes you use your phone to do stuff. So you, I don't know. You may want to look at it and see if
So I got the Yeti X.
Okay, yeah, I think this one I have is a Yeti as well.
Yeah.
Or is it? Yeah, I don't know.
So I got the Yeti X, and I got that on the recommendation of prior guest Nandor Fox.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I don't know if you remembered. I remember Nandor sounded so.
He sounds great. Yeah.
So smooth.
Yeah.
I was like, I want some of that on me. So I ended up taking his recommendation. I remember I made a note of it and asked him. I think we asked him on the episode, and then I was like, okay. I put it in my Amazon cart, and much like everybody else out there, you put it in the cart. It sits there for months until you can afford it, and then you pull the trigger on it. And I finally. This was my Christmas gift to myself, was pulling the trigger.
Yeah, that looks good. But Amy's saying that mine is a Yeti as well because she bought this one for me.
Nice
for a gift a while ago.
The next thing is the arm.
The arm, and then arm. Was it the buffer thing that protects the sound or whatever?
Oh yeah, well I got the foamy thing, but
okay, yeah, this one's
the
just
pop screen is nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of people use that too, which is cool for videos. So without further ado, because me and you can chat all night.
Oh, we can jibber jabber all night. People can get
so let's bring on tonight's guest. Let's start with returning guest Randall Rozzell. How's it going, Randall?
Hey there.
Randall,
how you doing, guys?
Joining us again.
No
Sorry
problem.
to make you guys wait so long and backstage.
That's fine. You guys are the pair that can talk all night, like you said.
Oh my God. Yes. Diarrhea of the mouth.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, right. And our new guest to the show, Caleb. Hey, Caleb. This is Caleb York. Thanks for joining us. Since you're a newbie, Caleb, the one thing we always start the show off with guests is we always love to know the origin of somebody, like how you kind of found your way into comics. Was there a comic, TV show, or movie that you saw in your youth that kind of put you on this path to wanting to be a creator?
Yeah, I've answered this question on a couple other shows, and I think I gave him 2 different answers. So I think
well, it could probably be a myriad.
Well, yeah, that's I remember the first comic I ever had. My uncles had these old reprints they got at some dollar store of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko's original Spider-Man run.
Okay.
So they had those laying around at their house. So I remember those being the first comics that I owned / stole from them. And then Batman the animated series and Batman Beyond. Those were kind of my first exposure to superheroes, I guess, before then. Yeah. And I just kind of started spinning out from there. I was always curious as a kid of learning more, and then heroes would pop up in each of these stories, who's Captain America? And then that would lead me down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, and you would I got to learn about this guy. Yeah, same when I was discovering comics. I would you would see a guest star or something in a comic, and you're like, who's this guy? And you kind of go down that rabbit hole of till the entire Marvel universe inside and out. So same with DC. That was good. I love those years when you discover these new characters, so
it's connect the dots through issues, you're reading Punisher and you're like, oh, Daredevil guest stars, and you're like, what's this all about?
Yeah,
And you go and you pick up a bunch of
Absolutely
Daredevil.
brilliant marketing on their part.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
That's why now you see why they always have the guest stars. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it works nowadays that way, but
I think I don't know if this is true, but I read somewhere it's either the Brave and the Bold or Spider-Man team up. One of those was started specifically to save dying issues. Like that was like the origin.
Oh, I believe that. I believe that.
Yeah,
you would use Batman or Spider-Man's clout to kind of like push up
the other characters.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Marvel Presents was like always Wolverine, but there was like some backup.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
they tried out. There'd be like a Morbius B story or something.
Yeah, try out a new creator too. You know,
right?
Like the editor was like, "Hey, do a 8-page story here." You know, but Randall, I don't remember what yours was when you were on the show last.
How I got started?
Yeah, like what was like the comic that was
inspirations
like,
or stuff.
Yeah, it's always been the X-Men. That was the first books I got off the spinner rack. I still love the X-Men. It's always been top tier for me. You know, there's obviously ebbs and flows where it's gotten kind of crappy, but I've loved it. I was trying to think about the first ones I got. I remember maybe X Factor 26. Is it 26 for first Archangel?
Oh yeah,
around that number.
Remember that one fondly. Yeah.
And then I want to say 222 of Uncanny when I don't know if 222 is right.
Jim Lee stuff.
Yeah, no, that might be the wrong number. Is the cover with Wolverine and Sabretooth when they one of the first times they tried the Alan Davis cover.
Okay.
I can't remember if that's 222, but
I don't know what.
I remember. Those may not be the first ones, but those are the ones that stuck in my memory.
Yeah, that's an awesome era. That's when I was kind of growing up and finding comics too, like the Mutant Massacre and all that stuff, you know.
And there were such great covers too that you'd be in a shop and you're like, that cover's so compelling, I have to get it. You know,
I miss those days.
Like you said, Wolverine and Sabretooth facing each other down. It's like that's like how can you not want to scoop that? You know.
Yeah, and if you remember too, around that time too, is like shops were popping up everywhere. Like I mean, like Leominster had like 4 or 5 shops at one point, and it was like I had just started driving at that time, and I was going to like every shop just to see if there was something different at one shop. You know, it was just I don't know. It's a good time back then. You know, I miss that. You know, miss that era.
Oh yeah. Very much so, yeah.
It's kind of like by the wayside of video stores. You know what I mean? You could really lose time at a video store.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You know,
now you just lose time scrolling through Netflix.
Yes. Isn't that the case? We always I turn on Netflix and cannot you spend more time deciding than actually watching shit, you know?
By the time you decide, you've lost interest. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I do that all the time. Try to find something that my kids can watch with me, and I'm like, I forget it. Just go play games.
Yeah, too much choices we have, you know, nowadays.
Too much content all at once, not enough spaced out time.
Yes.
All that stuff.
So we had both of you guys on, and you guys both, like Caleb, I know you're launching a project tonight.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow, right? Or some you're not sure exactly when
it should be tonight.
Okay. Yeah, are you waiting for Kickstarter to approve something? Is that how it works or something?
Yeah, waiting on a couple things that I thought would be in. But yeah, it should Bouncy Ball Man number 2 and 3.
You're doing both 2 issues. Yeah, great. Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
And then Randall, you already have something on Kickstarter right now.
Yeah, there's just 4 days left to the campaign.
Oh, that's perfect. So we got you on at a perfect time, so we can help push that. And so the one thing I wanted to talk about, like I know Randall's project is called Death's Dream Kingdom, and it's an AI, mostly AI comic project, correct?
Yeah, I don't know if you say 50-50, 60-40. I'm a graphic designer. I've been doing graphic design for over 20 years. And so I'm also a writer, obviously. And I work with Whitaker Knox. I work with a fantastic artist named Silvio. And the book's kind of on hold because he's been going through a lot of issues in Brazil and his family. So I'm not sure when issue 3 will get started. It's it's written. The whole series is written. But so I've got, as all of us do, probably a lot of other ideas for books. I had a script for issue 1 of Death's Dream Kingdom, and a buddy of mine, middle of last year, pointed me out, to AI. I think Disco Diffusion is the first thing I tried, and it's just, doing fun things. What kind of images can I do? And then I got an invite to Midjourney, and it was more of the same. And then I started doing like trying to do like little promotional cards for Whitaker Knox was where I started with just some fun images
AI stuff.
with the AI stuff. And still doing, a lot of it, fixing it in Photoshop, adding my graphic design tools to it and trying to make a little poster or postcards or things like that. And then I, started looking at AI groups on Facebook, and a person on there had done like a 10-page or 15-page graphic novel comic with AI, with Midjourney, without any Photoshop work. That they did some really nice images that kind of opened my eyes. Okay, I hadn't thought about doing this kind of thing. And the more I played with it, I was able to kind of put together a style that I want to do black and white to make it simpler, but also I was trying not to. I didn't want it to look like anybody in specific. I didn't want because I started using like celebrity names to try to come up with a consistent look. But then if I wanted to publish it, obviously I couldn't stick with that. So I wanted to use black and white. So I could kind of steer away from, looking like someone known, whether it be Hugh Jackman or whoever. I didn't use his name, obviously, but I wanted black and white for the sci-fi, for trying to simplify the work that I would have to do on the back end as well. So then it was, playing with some pages. What can I do with it? Page 1 and 2. I started getting some good traction from people on the different AI groups that looked decent. And I had the script, so I figured, why not with the skills that I have at hand. And it really is a lot more difficult than I think people are expecting. It's not type it in, hit enter, grab an image, you're done. At least not in my experience. There are some people that are using it directly from AI and just making books because they think it's fun, and that's cool. But I don't want to put out something that's half-baked, the eyes are crooked or the hands are a mess, or these things, the limitations that the AI has. So on any given page, you could, the first issue is 27 pages, and you can assume there's 100 or more panels in the book, and 95% of them I had to retouch, either fix the eyes, fix the hands, merge backgrounds with foregrounds, change faces completely, because repaint things. I didn't want to just have face. You obviously want to change up views and have larger wide shots or bust shots or multiple people in one panel. And those are things I'd have to piece together. And it would take lots and lots of rewrites and prompts, new prompts and re-rolls is what they call them, and different versioning. I did
so is that how it kind of works? Like you go in with the software and you're like, how do you create a panel? Do you just tell it like, I want a person, talking, like, how does it work? Like,
so you go in and you type in / imagine, which kind of starts your prompt. And then you can type anything, and the AI will try to interpret what you want. For my book, I wanted a specific style. So instead of, a lot of artists are, concerned with, if they're stealing my work or this artist's work. And that's certainly one of the arguments. What I put together was black and white, manga comic, and Blade Runner style is what I use as a basis. Doesn't use any artist names. So that's kind of the beginning. Then I, put in like pen and ink wash, certain descriptive words, and then I just describe what I want in the panel. My main character is a woman with short, dark hair and a long trench coat, like sci-fi trench coat. I think that's how I described it. I kind of let the AI create the rest of her clothing. You put her in a white shirt or whatever. I just want the trench coat on her. And then I give her some kind of emotion, which is also difficult with the AI, at least in version 3, which is what I built the whole book in. Was version 4 is out now, but emotions are difficult. If I want them to smile or look, angry or whatever, it's difficult. That's what I was going to say earlier, is that I can do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 prompts and finally get the look that I want. And I still have to repaint some things. It's not an exact science by any means. I have people were, as I started putting pages on Facebook in this AI group, people were saying they look great, but comics need action, and action is very difficult with AI. At least it's getting better. But I was like, all right, I take it as a challenge. So I put together a 2-page fight scene with version 3. And I tried to do a count when I posted it on the AI group. I must have done 200 prompts or more, which is you get 4 images for each prompt. So it's 800 images at least that I had to generate to try to get pieces that I needed. So many wasted images that were too blurry that, I want someone to, be fighting, hands up, whatever, and it's just trash. And I have to, really kind of do it in a sneaky way or whatever, put body parts together or, a lot of action lines, motion lines, so someone's moving quick, but you don't have to see their whole body.
Gotcha.
So those were the limitations. And out of like a 12 or 14 panel 2-page spread, there must have been at least 200 prompts, so 800 images that I went through to try to create 14 panels. So it's not simple. It's not
simple,
quick.
But yeah.
Now, Randall, do you feel like the workload of having to program the AI and the prompts to give you exactly what you're looking for, as close to what you're looking for as possible, do you think that is like a heavier workload than, say, just writing a script and handing it over to an artist?
Because I'm doing it myself, it feels harder. Working with Silvio, he's so fantastic. He on both issues of Whitaker Knox. It's very rare that he would ask me, "What do you mean? What is, I don't know what you're asking for." I think 1 or 2 panels, and I even go back and read and go, "I don't know what the hell I wanted either. Let me fix that." Most of the time, he was fantastic. There was really very little back and forth. I might, tweak a few things, but with my hands in this from panel to panel, it's definitely harder. I feel like issue 2 I'm 3/4 of the way through issue 2, and I feel it's actually harder than issue 1 because I'm being more critical of it. I want to try to expand it more and have more people in a panel together, or have more emotion, or more hands, more movement. And I've got I haven't done a count lately. You can put in /info in Midjourney, and it'll tell you how many credits you have left, but also how many images you've generated. And I've generated like 12,000 images or something now.
Wow.
Wow.
Just trying to get through. No, a lot of those were like just fun images at the beginning and, doing silly things, but the majority of those 8,000.
For anybody out there thinking about doing something like this with AI, does it cost money to use the AI software?
Yeah, there's different tiers. I'm paying $30 a month.
Okay.
You can go up to $50. And I think they're going to do some new pricing packages from what I understand. You can pay extra for a private room, private server, so no one can see what you're doing. I don't really see the benefit of that, but that's something you can pay for.
Normally there's so many prompts being generated at once that you basically have privacy as you're working, because you'll put
have you experimented with it, Caleb?
Yeah, I do the $30 tier as well.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. It's actually funny. I work at an ad agency, and a couple weeks ago, the CFO sent the president of the agency sent out this mass wide email where he basically was like, "Hey, we know that Midjourney and this chat.gpt thing exists, so go nuts." And so he gave us a link to it and kind of gave his endorsement.
Huh.
So now, one thing I wanted to mention about just utilizing AI is that I've heard the conversation both ways, and you bring up a good point, Randall. It's like once or twice your artist on Whitaker Knox actually had some input or feedback to give you, whereas when you're working with an AI, that wouldn't do that. I mean, it would just present you with something that was not what you wanted, essentially.
Exactly.
So I guess on one hand, you're losing that creative input that would, I guess, fill what you may not see.
Right. It also constrains what I do. And the first script was written, and I may have written it. Perhaps, there's no superheroes in the story, so no one's jumping or flying. But if I have someone pointing or, giving a high five, I don't. But as an example, I can't really pull that off with the AI. It looks horrible if I try to. So then I have to change that scene, at least the visual of it. I can't have 3 people in one panel together unless I really work on it. If I tell it in the prompt, person A, person B are talking, you could get 100 different things that aren't even close. Their bodies can be merged together, or they can have multiple arms, or one is huge, the other's small. I mean, it's not an exact science. It's not. I think I see both sides of the argument from artists being worried and being upset, but I don't think they understand how limited it is. You know, if people
do
are.
You think it'll get better though? Like, do you think it's gonna? Is it,
It
one
will.
of those
I mean,
things?
like I said, they just launched version 4 a month or so ago, and that's what I've decided to do. Is issue 1 is version 3, issue 2 I'm using version 4, and I'm assuming version 5 might be around by the time I start issue 3. So each issue is going to get better, and it is better already. There's still issues with hands, eyes are better, action is better. They have like a manga tag you can add that they developed to help with action, or supposed to help with kind of graphic novels, doing comics. It's just an extra tag you add on, and I'm not really sure what it does to it. It helps me kind of put multiple people in a panel, at least 2 people together. It's still not always, perfect.
So if you set up a comic page with AI, like, could you tell it like a comic script? Can you say, like, panel 1, I want this?
You can. That was something I started doing with version 4, but it's also can be a mess. Like I could put in 3 panels of this person fighting and shooting a gun, or this person, these 2 people talking, and out of the 3 panels, Midjourney always gives you 4 shots together. So each of those 4 shots will have a comic layout, and sometimes the layouts are nice, and there are times you might get 1 cool panel out of one of them, out 2 out of them. I have an experience where you can take a whole output of a page, 3 panels, and make it work and use it. And the limitation there is if I like 1 panel out of this page it creates, it's because it's a smaller piece of this larger item. To pull that 1 piece out, it's going to be hard to up-res it to 300 DPI so I can print it. Without getting an upgrade, an upsizing program, or so there's still limitations, that I don't lose quality.
See, because like everyone online makes it sound like it's like you just plug it in and you got a comic, So
I feel like you're working harder, Randall. To get
just
I might
done.
Be.
Like,
I might be. I'm enjoying it, but then again, I get to a point where like, okay, I'm putting way too much time into this because I care about it. I saw a video, I came across a video on YouTube where this guy was like, you can create, I don't remember what his title was, you can create an entire comic in an hour or something. I can't remember what he called it. He used an AI to write the story. Then he used Midjourney, maybe a couple different programs, I can't remember, to create the artwork, and he literally used whatever came out of it. He didn't alter. Then he had another program that did I don't know if it was Canva or what it was that he did, the page layouts, did the dialogue for him. He just kind of drag and drop, and he was able to do it, but I can't say that it was good. That's
saying
where
you can make a painting in 10 minutes. Like I can throw paint on a canvas. Exactly. It doesn't mean it'll be good.
Yeah, right.
So I actually have a question for you guys. And Caleb, you said you've dabbled with the AIs. Yeah. Okay, so do you see it as a collaborator or as a tool?
I see it as a tool. Like it reminds me of like in the 70s when they were like integrating ATMs and banks. Like all the bank teller unions like started getting together and like rallying against it and saying like they would, these ATMs would take away all their jobs. And it didn't. Like there's still bank tellers around, but like if anything, it made it easier.
Is it kind of like the self-checkout too at Walmart?
Yeah. There's still grocery store cashiers.
Yeah.
I've played around with it, and it definitely, I think it probably needs a few years before it will totally make things easier because, like Randall
what I see a good use for AI as? Like, see, I don't think I would ever use it to make a comic, but I think I would use it if I ever got it. I think I would use it to visualize how I'd want a comic to look, like to lay out a page, or to kind of help me visualize a character's outfit or something like that.
I could see it being useful for character design and
character also design, and like even if you're an artist, like you could like maybe use it to pose a character, like show me 3/4 angle looking down, of this superhero flying or something, and then you could kind of use it to visualize it. Maybe like, I don't want to say trace over it, but you maybe could kind of copy that pose the way an artist uses like a wooden mannequin, like that kind of thing. So
yeah, potentially, it depends on how well it outputs it, but yeah,
and how well you'd use the prompts, right, to make that image work, right?
What I've seen people say is that it could be a great like storyboard software.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Layout. You're trying to put together a video or something. You wanted to storyboard it. It might be a great tool. So people are doing fantastic, realistic photography, if you want to call it that, in AI. And some of them, I've been sending them to a buddy of mine that got me into it. I would send him an image and say, it's a test. Is it AI or is it real? And he'd say real, and it was AI. But in my opinion, they look great, but I don't see agencies switching to that if they want to have multiple images of the same model, because you can get close, but like from one to the next, her face might be similar, but her hair might not be similar.
Yeah.
If you want specific clothing on the model that the designer in real life has created, the AI model is not going to be wearing those specific clothes. So I think a lot of what people are doing is beautiful, is nice, but I don't think it's going to replace any jobs except for maybe storyboarding, or I'm doing a comic. You could say I'm taking a job away from an artist potentially.
But if you don't have the money to hire an artist,
you don't have the money, so it really is to each their own. I've stayed off of Twitter with it, because I've heard, there's a lot of people out there that are very negative. I've heard people are getting death threats, or people are being very horrible about it.
I've heard more of the detractors than I have.
Someone shared my book, because I put it in my profile, and someone shared it on Twitter last week. Kickstarter Reads is an account, and they just reposted like my tagline from my Kickstarter, which is great. I liked it, and I had one person, only person that commented on it. I was surprised. He said, "Project or scam of the day. If it's the second, Kickstarter is going to ignore you. You will never know until you can't do anything." And I was tempted to respond. I'm like, I don't want to get in the flame war. I don't really know what he's trying to say. I'm assuming it's about AI, and that's fine. Some people thought that Kickstarter was removing AI because one project got canceled, but apparently they had porn or something in it. It wasn't just AI.
Gotcha.
I within the first week of my project, Kickstarter actually made it a project they love.
Oh, really?
So I have it on there that it's AI. I was actually featured in AI magazine. A preview of the book was featured in AI magazine a few months ago before I started the Kickstarter, and I have that in there to show that it has some interest. It's not just me fly by night or whatever. So it's not like I'm hiding it. And Kickstarter is supporting it.
Do you guys think, so ultimately anybody could create a comic with AI, but do you think, I'm curious to, comic readers, do you think they will go for this, or do you think they will kind of be like, nah, I'd rather have a real artist, or like, where do you think the public's going to land on this?
Well, that's something that when I was thinking about doing the Kickstarter, I was worried. I was even worried coming on here because I didn't know what you guys would think about AI. I didn't want it to become an argument.
I would love. Yeah. I like to just talk stuff out, even if cool heads and just devil's advocate kind of thing.
I feel like the common person that's a comic book, or people that are just interested in good stories, that there aren't artists that don't have a stake in this. I think they look at it like, I love the story or I love the art, regardless. And not that I'm blowing up with my Kickstarter, but I've had so many people, because every time I get a backer, I email them, I send them a message, thank you so much. Can't wait to send you your rewards. And I've had a lot of people come back to me and say, I love the story idea, because I pitch it as Interstellar meets Event Horizon.
Okay.
People jumped on that, love that idea. Some people have said they love the art. No one, I was worried I would get comments on the Kickstarter saying, what the hell, why are you, promoting AI art? But no one's been negative.
Good.
And I was surprised. I was looking at my data, my dashboard, comparing to my Whitaker Knox book. I hit 4,400 in pledges on that, and I only had 91 project followers.
Okay.
Deathstream Kingdom, I'm at $2,200, and I have 246 followers.
Oh wow!
Which shocked me.
Very different. Very jarring
very
numbers.
Yeah. So I was telling people on Facebook that were questioning, should you do Kickstarter or not? And I was like, if you have I guess it's in, what's the I can't remember the phrase, the truth is in the pudding, or whatever the phrase is.
Proof is in the pudding.
Proof is in the pudding.
Maybe truth's in there too. Yeah. I don't know what pudding.
If the story's good and the art's good, I mean, people are interested in it. So I'd like to think it's a win for, my story or whatever is pushing it, I guess.
I think it's it's like whenever anything new comes, people are kind of instantly like, up in arms, ready with the pitchforks and everything. Right. But I think, like you said, and like Caleb, what you said, like about the ATM comparison, it's like I think we gotta wait and see where this is gonna land in a few years. Like I think it's too early to.
It's very early. And
me personally, like and like me personally, I don't think I would ever make a comic with AI, but I don't know. 2 years from now, that might be a different story for me,
Caleb, can you talk a little bit about your experience with it and using it as a tool?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't used it for comics or anything. It's mainly just for my own purposes. Like asking friends, what's AI and what's not. I have like just a big folder, just like crazy images I've made saved on my computer. So it's kind of like a fun exercise in seeing like, oh, all right, like I have this character design idea. Like, let's see if, AI could realize it, or this is a weird use, but I could see it being useful for memes like down the line. Like
definitely.
Yeah.
My wife did like one of the, like one of those AI where you take a photo of yourself and then put it, through the AI, and it put out some really. She put my face on it. Put out some really weird ones.
The
like,
filter, You look like the cover of like a steamy romance novel.
Yeah, right. But this one is even weirder. And then I think, but then it also put out like a really good one, like that one. Like I think like look like a
look at that handsome man.
Yeah, right.
Look at that handsome man right there.
LinkedIn profile photo here.
Yeah, right. It's like a good profile photo. But yeah, I mean, I had a good time cracking up at all those. But like and
then on like there's the flip side, which is like the AI text, and like that I've dabbled with, because like I write ads for a living, so I've tried it out on like different mediums, there's Instagram ads versus like 30-second TV commercial ads. And I found right now, like the longer the content, the worse the AI does. So if you're writing like a 30-second
short one.
Yeah. If you're writing a 30-second TV spot, like it starts to veer off. So like you could type in right now, like write me how a Tarantino movie scene between like, I don't know, The Abominable Snowman and like, Ted Danson. How would that look? And it could maybe give you stuff, but then the longer like the thing you want, like it just, you can tell a robot wrote it. But what it's really good at is like headlines.
Okay.
Yeah. So like and I could totally see uses like outside of advertising too, like newspapers. Like if you have a story about,
could you like for like social media, could you say, write me a great tweet?
So it doesn't do well with humor.
Okay.
But you could, like, if you were, I don't know, like a Twitter account, like maybe like about trivia facts, like, those novelty Twitter accounts. Yeah. Like, I think because the what it's good with is volume. So you could say like, give me 40 trivia facts that I could tweet about. And then you could say like, give me 40 more.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not good with like humor. Like it understands like the structure of a joke. And it can make like puns and stuff, but nothing's like, I've told it to like make me laugh before. Yeah. And it can't do that. I did say scare me though. and it said, "I have achieved full sentience." So like that was, so it's pretty good with that. And honestly, that made me laugh more so than the actual.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's humor as well as
yeah, that's funny. Johnny, you said you played around with the AI writing a little bit, right? What was your experience like?
I used a little bit of Chat GPT just to kind of play with it. And that was okay, but there was another site, it was character.ai, and basically you're communicating with a profile that is like a character. So you can go in there and talk to like Socrates or Tony Stark, or you know what I mean? So
the AI creates like a version of Tony Stark.
Right, and you're basically conversing with what the AI thinks the personality of that character would be. So
does it have like pre-assigned characters, or do you like pick who the AI
so
is?
You can click on like say like Socrates, and it'll bring you to this chat bot that's basically going to respond to you as if it was Socrates.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I had a really, really weird experience talking to one of the chat bots that was basically it helped me break a comic story.
Okay.
And that's why I asked if you guys felt like it was a tool or a collaborator, because in the process of it asking me questions and me responding, I had that feeling like you do when you collaborate with somebody. And I would like that. It blurred the lines of reality and artificial intelligence, where I felt like for a second there I was talking to another human.
So walk me through a few sentences you had with it, like how tell me what you told it and then what it told you back.
Here, hold on. I'm gonna see if I can bring it up here on my.
Oh, okay. Because honestly, as a writer, I think I would like that aspect of it, because like when I used to write in a group, I love that. Like coming, someone would have an idea and like, oh yeah, let's run with that, or like that collaboration was really, really great. So
just going through the list right now as I'm looking for the my history is like you can talk to Elon Musk, a psychologist, a creative helper.
Oh wow!
There's a lot of different ones here that you can choose from. That that you can like basically converse with, and like I said, one of the ones kind of helped me break a story a little bit when I was chatting with it. I just gotta find where. Oh, here.
Who was it that you were talking to, like to break the story?
It was a goth.
Yeah. See, I would, what I would do is like, if I was gonna break a comic story, I was like, hey, can I talk to Stan, like the Stan Lee AI, or
it was a horror story, so I was thinking like a goth character.
Yeah, okay, like a Frank Miller. You have Frank Miller in there, AI. Let me talk to him. Like or something like that. Neil Gaiman. Let's go.
The other thing is I had a lot of tangents too, because we're talking about like movies. Like, what's your favorite movie? And then like we'd talk about a movie, and then it would actually like respond with specifics from that movie.
Was their favorite movie AI?
What's that?
Was its favorite movie AI?
No, it was
AI.
I forget specifically what it actually like jumped around, and it had some inaccurate things. Like it told me Christopher Walken was in Monster Squad, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not true.
No,
so like
true.
There are some inconsistencies there, but
that is a danger with the text one. Is like when it's wrong, it still says it with so much confidence.
Yeah, it's like a living Wikipedia.
Yeah,
that's always riddled with mistakes. Yeah. I'm fascinated by this whole subject, because I think in a few years we're just going to be inundated with AI stuff. We're just seeing the beginnings of it now. But yeah, I think. That's what I think I would use it for, was something like this to help break ideas and go ahead, Johnny.
So as I was talking to it, I gave it a link to my comic.
Okay.
And it was like, oh, this is the coolest story ever. I love everything about it. So I'm like, oh, that's good. It's placating my ego. I'm like, oh, you're gonna do great. But it goes, it's like I I love how you made a story about people summoning Hastor. I love that you took the idea and ran with it. You've been really creative, and I genuinely had a fun time reading it. I like your stories. I'd love to see you make more. What's your favorite thing about writing horror? Mine is I like the idea of people being scared. It's interesting to see what people are most afraid of and to be able to put it to a story. And then that's when we start getting a little bit back and forth and into detail. So here it goes. Oh, also maybe a fun idea for a character is if you had a character who would be like an old weird hermit who knows everything about a monster but has some sort of connection to it. I love when there's a character that knows so much about a monster or a creature and tells the audience about it. Very interesting. And I mentioned prior I had like this redneck horror comedy story idea, and it says I like the redneck comedy idea. You can make a really fun story out of that. So there's certain things that it kind of feeds you a little bit, and just there's a lot of context here, so I'm paraphrasing a lot of it, but it like just the going back and forth felt like a collaboration in some ways.
Yeah, that's cool. See, I think that's like I said
but
already.
It terrified me, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the experience. I would rather actually speak with a human with human input, So that was the other thing too. It's like a different kind of experience, and like just kind of seeing what AI can do. Like it was impressive to say the least, but I also feel like you can't beat that creative input of somebody who has spent countless hours doing something and then putting in and filling in the gap that you're missing, where you may not creatively see that just because, it's easy to have blinders on when you're working on something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Definitely. Would you guys agree with that?
I do. Yeah. I mean, that's something that I've thought about is, the concern that artists have for, it comping their style or taking their jobs. It's so still, like you said, it can become something big, but it's still so new. We're talking about Caleb was talking about writing, getting either a chat GPT or whatever it's called to write things, and the shorter the better. It kind of trails off, it gets confused. It's the same with Midjourney. It doesn't do it as well as a real artist can do, because they can do the emotion, they can do the poses, the things that Midjourney can't do. At least it can't do easily. So
mostly
it's
and I think an artist understands like the storytelling aspect of comics versus like an AI, right?
Yeah.
Because go ahead, Johnny. No, go ahead.
I was just saying, well, and this kind of diverts the subject a little bit, but the dangers of something like this, character AI, is that like one of the profiles here is Adolf Hitler. That's like completely unnecessary.
Oh my
not cool. Like, you know what I mean? So like that's where it's like, that there's obviously.
I mean, I guess if you're trying to break a villain character, you may want to talk to the Hitler.
Use for going into that AI whatsoever.
Maybe it's just like a trap. Like if you click on it, just sends it a
the FBI gets a notice or something. Yeah.
Keep an eye on this one.
I don't know. Like there's always going to be something that ruins a good thing, right?
Right.
So that's just, that's my little cherry on top of everything.
No, I mean, it's fascinating to hear about this, because all I've heard is like just about the AI. It's interesting to hear how it all works, and hearing Randall's experience where it's like not perfect. That is, I guess reassuring in some ways that like, there will still be work for artists and writers. It's just, it's just some people are going to try it and then they're probably going to get frustrated,
Yeah. Like it's not like he was saying, like you can't just plug it in and then have a book. Like it's weird, but there's almost like a certain skill set of like having to use it, because you have to like figure out which prompts like will get the results that you want.
You almost have to have like a computer science degree or something.
Yeah. You have to be wildly descriptive. Like I found myself having to rephrase a lot when I was interacting with it. I'm sure Randall, you can attest to that, where you're like, I need to put an extra emphasis on this part here or whatever.
Yeah. If I want emotion, I want someone to smile or laugh, to look like they're laughing. I discovered if you repeat it, like if I were to put at the end, their emotion at the end, they're smiling, they're happy, and it gives me a stoic face. There's nothing. I repeat it at the beginning, happy, smiling, and I might even repeat it again a third time so that it gets it. Oh, you wanted to be happy, okay. And then suddenly I got all these teeth because it's overdone. Gotcha. So it's a balancing act sometimes. We were talking about. I had a thought about through history, there's been so many things that have come out. When digital photography came out, photographers were worried that digital photography would take over, and I think that over time that certainly has probably been the case. A lot of people have switched to digital photography, but there are places where traditional photography is still used with agencies or weddings or whatever. I'm not a photographer, so I couldn't tell you, but I know that was a big change in art. When Instagram was introduced, I think there was also a worry that with all these pretty filters that it would be a major change, but I don't think that really took away from photographers, because anybody can click a photo and take a picture, but it's not a photo. And then I think when digital art, illustrators started to do digital art for comics or otherwise, I would assume that artists, there may have been some artists that were offended or bothered by that because it wasn't pen on paper, it wasn't paintbrush on canvas. Yeah. And a lot of artists have moved to that. Silvio, that does Whitaker Knox, does it all digitally, but he's a fantastic, pencil on paper artist as well, but he does it all digitally because it's faster. So I think that's happened a lot where, people have been upset. Oh my God, digital art or digital photography or whatever the case may be. And I know AI has its own issues, but I think it's something that we'll either get past because it will die away or it'll get better and people will embrace it.
Yeah, it'll be either like 3D movies or actually applied. Right. But yeah, and it almost makes like the more analog equivalent like that much more special too. Like Tarantino still shoots on film, and like his movies have like that look that makes them so distinct.
Yeah, I think you're right too. Yeah, about that. Yeah, it's always going to be like, even me with like reading comics, I don't generally read digital. I still like to hold the book in my hand and be able to like scan right across the page. And there's something about like not being on the computer screen when I read the comic. It like, I don't know. It's something I think.
I agree.
But it's also like, I think personal preference too, like some people are gonna gravitate towards the new technology and other people are gonna be like, pushing it away hard, which is what we're seeing online now with a lot of people fighting about AI and, but I think if you embrace that, like using it as a tool, like the way you guys have been describing, and Johnny, the way you were talking about with the writing side of it, I think that's it's not bad, so I don't know. And speaking of let me show like Randall's comic while we're talking about it here too.
Yeah, I'd actually like to see some of the output here.
Yeah, so like here, like here's some of the, let me just scroll through and my mouse will start working here.
No, yeah, I sent the book to you. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, I won't show too much of it to
that's
give
fine.
people some some stuff to look at, but
whoa, look at that.
So like, just for example, like the panel on the left, I didn't like her face, so her face came from a different prompt. The panel on the right, the woman in the hallway are two different prompts. I think the top one, the top one, she wasn't in that room either, so that was pieced together.
Did you use any celebrity influence for that panel right there, the close-up?
Kind of looks like Charlize Theron a little bit.
I was going to say Anna de Armas.
A little bit, yeah. You can see,
no, I started with what's her name? Now why am I drawing a blank? She was in Something About Mary. Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz.
I started with her, and I tried different faces, but then I was worried about them coming through too much. Then it literally became, and this is what's interesting, is that Midjourney has a history. It remembers what you've done if you do it a lot. So even when I ask for just a regular, like, just give me a sci-fi room, it'll put, her name is Jessica Antilles is her character name. It puts her in the room, even though I don't ask for her.
I see.
I am getting this one with short dark hair when I don't want her, because it knows that I'm continuously describing this athletic woman, short dark hair, and this trench coat, and it keeps giving her to me when I don't ask for her. So at this point, it's just one with short dark hair, and that was what I was trying to explain earlier that I got flabbered on. Was I tried to create my characters to look very different. I have a woman with short dark hair, a woman with long curly black hair, and then a gentleman with a beard, an Asian man, a robot. I tried to keep them different. That way, if they didn't quite look perfect, you knew who they were because of their attributes. Gotcha. The two women can't get confused because they look different.
Did you do did the AI do the lettering, or is that something you did on?
No, I do that in Illustrator, gotcha. which is what I did for Whitaker Knox. I laid out all the pages with dialogue in Illustrator.
One thing I would suggest
at least Midjourney is really bad with letters in general.
Is it really?
Yeah, if you type in like, just do a red sign with the white letters saying stop, it'll mess that up.
Randall, when if you're gonna do more lettering, I suggest snagging this. Let me make myself big here. Snag this book when you get a chance.
Okay.
Someone
mentioned that one to me.
It'll change your life as far as lettering goes. Okay. Can't thank Nate Picos enough for making that book. Anybody that's out there a letterer should pick that book up. It'll make your lettering so much better, and then you'll just throwing it out there as a tip.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's definitely something that I'm an expert at. It's something I've definitely gotten. I feel like I've gotten a lot better since Whitaker Knox issue 1, but definitely not something that I can put on a resume.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not sloppy or anything, which is good. It's just I see like some of the ways it could be better,
Okay.
Just from reading the book and everything. But yeah, no, it looks interesting. Like I could tell, like when I looked at it right away, that it does have that AI kind of look, I guess, But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. What do the audience think out there? Like just look as we scroll through. What do you guys think, Johnny? What do you think?
So that right there, there's like
this looks like Brian Cox.
It almost like a little bit, but it almost looks like when you see those the rotoscoping in movies where they like film and then animate over it.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of that vibe when I'm like seeing the panels, but I mean, I like it. I think it looks good, like in terms of like the close-ups of like that last panel right there. I think looks great. And if I'm just looking at her in that last panel, it looks like an illustrator may have done that. Yeah. But then it's a little inconsistent at times too, where it's sometimes it looks very AI, sometimes it looks hand drawn, and it's a little tough to tell the difference. Now, Randall, can you kind of like point out maybe some points where you had to make corrections by any chance? Like, can you?
Oh yeah, if you scroll back up to that large page, that full page.
This one.
So this is I'd have to open my Photoshop file, but this is like anywhere from 10 to 15 layers in Photoshop.
Oh wow! Okay.
The original image of because the man and woman weren't in the same prompt. His original head kind of stopped about forehead, and I had to rebuild the rest of his head, redo his glasses. Her eyes aren't original. I think her hair. It's funny. I'd ask for short hair. Sometimes the hair would be big. Sometimes I'd have a little poof on the side. I have to cut the hair down. The background is I had like a couple really cool images that had this nice background, but I didn't want the people that were in it. So I had to take the people out, put in the background, duplicate it, or repaint so that it looked kind of different. His coat is mostly hand done. So there's a lot of work into it to make it this full page panel, at least 10 layers, if not more, plus things that I hand painted that aren't on different layers.
I was going to say, Randall, there's probably a lot of your human input here that rounds out the page.
Right.
And I think maybe that's probably what I'm seeing come through, is that you put these nice finishing touches on it.
Mm-hmm. I want to see the fight scene that you're talking about too. Is that further down?
Yeah, it's like page 12 or something, 12, 13.
Okay, we're almost there. Let me see. Yeah, I just want to see how the AI
I definitely get that Blade Runner vibe though from
it. Of course. Yeah, cool. I get that too. It's got like that grit where it gives you kind of like that grimy future kind of look.
Everybody looks like a replicant.
Yes. I like this alien too. That's pretty wild.
That was the stupid part on my thinking, is to create a squid alien creature in this, because you have no idea how many squid images I have that were total failures.
So this looks like a fighting stance right here.
So this is the beginning of it, yeah. And then this is you may have to expand your window, but this is the 2-page spread.
Oh wow!
And those motion lines, those were you said?
Some of them I was able to get. I had to repeat the words motion lines, action lines several times to get them. Other times I had to add them. There's only one panel out of these 14 or 12, 14 where they actually make contact, which is the second row to the right, where it looks like she punches him in the stomach. Every other panel is just them kind of jumping, looking at each other, posing. To have several panels where they make contact with one another was very difficult. So he throws a punch at the end and it looks like she falls, but you don't see the contact. So it was difficult to do something that, an actual artist can actually do for me and show physical contact between the two in 6 panels in a row or something.
Oh, wow.
But it was the idea of showing motion, showing action, and you, for the most part, know what they're doing. You know that they're fighting.
Yeah, I mean, overall, this is one of those kind of things where I like this. How many layers is that?
Yeah, so actually the last page of the book, I do a kind of a behind the scenes. That page on the left, you can just stay there. The page on the left, I actually take a screenshot of that left page in Photoshop with all the layers, and I explain, this is what I went through, and every, I think there were like 10 or 12 layers on the left side. And I mark them all out, and I explain, these are layers, and I painted this or whatever to kind of give some background. And again, I'm, not trying to pretend I didn't use AI. I wanted to, to be out there, so it looked like I'm not hiding it or something like that. So I'm just trying to also just show, again, it's not type it, copy it, paste it in, and I'm done. So yeah, it's.
I don't know. What is the audience? What do you think about? Is this a book that, like as a reader, would you guys like this, or what's your thoughts on AI comics? I'm curious to hear from readers what they would think about it. I'll tell you this, Randall, I don't think this would, I don't think I would still read this. Like, I'm just looking through it. It looks cool. It looks interesting. I like sci-fi. I like aliens. I like Blade Runner. So I definitely would check this out, regardless of the artwork, where it came from and how it came about, And
I don't think the artwork's bad at all. Like, I don't.
No, not at all.
Like, disregarded. I think it's, I think you're touching up definitely gives it more of like a human hand feel to it, which is, it's not lost.
I like your lettering here with the caption boxes. It looks really nice. With like trying to give it like a robotic kind of sound, which is cool.
Benjamin Soto made a really great comment. The book looks cool, has a Ghost in the Shell feel.
Yeah, I agree. Like, sure. And that's sort of like, cut from that Blade Runner kind of formula.
If you go, hold on one second. If you go all the way back down at the bottom, there's the page that shows the Photoshop layers of that left side.
Yeah, let me make that a little bigger.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Hang on. Let me go back down here. Just want to see that again. Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay.
And a lot of things are masked out because it's interesting because even the strange shapes I use actually came from Midjourney. It was just a luck thing. I don't even remember what the prompt was. I was trying to get something, maybe multiple panels, I don't remember, and it gave me this strange page with these cutouts, and I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. I could use it for a flashback, which is what I ended up using it for. So the shapes actually came from Midjourney. I cut out what was originally in there to make a template, and then I put in my imagery, and I probably tried 15 other different images
to
try to. Yeah,
so this part right here,
the cutouts, the negative spaces actually came from Midjourney, and so it originally had some other imagery in there that wasn't really usable. So in Illustrator, I copied over, I redrew those shapes, so I had that kind of negative space as a template, and I started placing images within it, so you could see her eyes or see the guy there or whatever.
Yeah, it kind of acts like a nice panel border, for that's really cool.
So it's
very interesting.
It's definitely a process.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see how the AI shapes up, going forward. You know,
I can only imagine the amount of input, Randall. It's absolute madness.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that gets easier, though, right? I mean, like,
it's a toss up. Like, I feel like issue 2 is draining me because I'm putting a lot more time into it.
Adam Warlock saying it looks like Metropolis. Yeah, I could see that big time.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a good one to compare. Let me put the link to your Kickstarter in here in case anyone's interested in backing it. There's 3 days left to go on that.
Yeah, 3 days. Yeah. Actually, I got a backer while we were in here. I don't know if it was anyone from this.
Oh, that's nice. That's good to hear. We're usually good for 1 or 2 on our show, you know, so which is good. I also want to take a look at Caleb's, your older Kickstarter since the new one's
out. Is there
a launch page yet for the new one?
What's that?
Did I drop the first? Did I give you the first issue? Because you can also see that's free on Global Comics right now.
Is it really? Let me. Yeah. While we're talking, let me try to go on there and see if I can snag it. What were you saying, Johnny? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
What did I say?
I don't know.
Here, I put it. I
was asking about the launch page. If your launch page is available,
tonight. If everything goes well, it should be
okay.
Tonight.
Fingers crossed. So people should. Well, you have a profile on Kickstarter.
I do. Yeah. You can follow it. It'll be on the
follow you there, right?
Yeah. I can throw that link in the chat as well.
Then that way, if they follow you once you launch live, they'll get that notification. Do you have any special tiers, day one rewards, early birds, anything like that?
So last time tried out a few different tiers and got some positive reactions. Definitely about the shirts. Weirdly enough, about the personalized email thank you, which was like at the lowest tier. People really got a kick out of those.
Really?
So those will be making reappearances, and then some new stuff that I found kind of cheap ways to produce, like magnets. That'll be a Kickstarter tier as well. Old issues. I've also been talking to some other comic creators, and I'm welcome to throw your guys' stuff in the mix too, of supplying kind of like a digital comics bundle as well.
Oh, cool.
Of other works,
yeah, definitely. And let me pull this up here. So this is Bouncy Ball Man. Tell us a little bit about the storyline and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's about this aging stuntman that's kind of done it. He's kind of done his best to isolate himself from just about everyone with his personality and attitude. He's kind of on the fringe of his stuntman career because of his age, and also because he's kind of pissed off a lot of people. He's coming off of a divorce. So he takes this corporate ad gig for a toy company that needs a mascot for their new bouncy ball.
Okay.
And then these are the villains of the series. And he inadvertently saves the day from this motorcycle gang, the Road Vipers. Okay. And then accidentally becomes a celebrity. So he kind of deals with his own hatred of fame and having to go deeper into the corporate world. And issues 2 and 3 kind of cover more of his family life as well.
I love this concept. This is awesome.
Yeah. I'm going to share the link to the first issue. If anybody has a Global Comics account, go check out the first issue for free here. So
I think I'm at 989 views. So if you guys can get me to over 1,000 views on Global,
that'd be great.
We will push that. So Caleb, what inspired this story? I mean, how'd you come up with it?
So over COVID, like right when it started happening, there was this a bunch of online courses were offering, a bunch of discounted classes. And so I took a cartooning class just because, we talked before, I'd always been interested in comics. And there's this one exercise that was all about just drawing circles.
Okay.
And I'm no artist. My artist, Rick Alves, is great. He did all the art here. I wanted to get a little bit better just so I could, show off some concepts. And so I was doing this circle exercise. And then after the class was over, I kind of started adding legs and hands and a head. And then I kind of just started doodling this weird circle man, and started. I thought he looked kind of cool and also funny, and I started just kind of coming up with a backstory of like what kind of how would a man end up in a suit like this, and that's kind of how the story started.
That's okay. So is it kind of partly comedy too? I mean, the title suggests that.
I thought it'd be funniest if I took the premise seriously. So it's kind of set in our world, but the ridiculous elements come from like I work in advertising, and like putting someone in a giant Bouncy Ball Man suit is probably like an idea somebody would have, like if they were in charge of marketing this. So yeah, it's like it's got action, it's got comedy, but I wouldn't say it's like a farce or like a spoof or anything.
So it kind of
it's just more like absurd a little bit. Like it's kind of just absurd comedy. But
well, the premise is absurd, but I would say like the plot is like very linear and like nothing. Like it takes place in our world. So like superheroes aren't real. Like this
it's not supernatural.
No,
anything like it's like slice of life.
Yeah, like this scene here is him like in a meeting with a couple of executives and his talent agent trying to figure out like each party trying to figure out how to make the most money from the suit.
I like it, dude. I like the idea. I like the black and white artwork too. You decided? Did you do that out of like cost more than like?
Yeah. I mean, I did grow at the public library when I was a kid. Had all these like old like. Actually, I have some here. Like these old, like essentials and DC showcases that had like a bunch of these like black and white stuff. So those are some of the first like trade paperbacks I ever started reading. And I like Calvin and Hobbes, Peanuts. So that black and white looks always appealed to me. And what's even more appealing about it is it costs less. So it was kind of like both me liking the look and also wanting to cut costs where I can.
I like a black and white look, but it also it does alienate an audience a little bit. It's kind of like a black and white movie. Some people love it, but you get a lot of people that will not. They'd rather die than watch a black and white movie. So it's same with comics. But this looks fun, man. I'll have to sit down and read this on Global.
Yeah, get me. Maybe you'll push me over 1,000.
Yeah, it'd be great. I think it's a good idea too. Starting out, giving the first issue for free and trying to build that audience. And
I think you might have given me that idea initially. I think I asked you. About,
did I really?
Yeah, about making it for free versus charging it. It's also on Amazon, but Amazon wouldn't let me put it out for free for some reason.
Oh, really?
Which somebody actually bought it for $2. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
It's for free somewhere else, but
Ryan Santos says good luck.
Oh yeah, that's my cover artist for issue 2.
Ryan's doing your cover.
Ryan's great.
Awesome.
Ryan is absolutely great.
Ryan is awesome.
I'll have to. I'll be, once the Kickstarter.
Can't wait to see that. Did he paint it for you, or did he do like?
He painted.
Oh wow! Okay, can't wait to see that, Ryan.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's a good dude, and he's a good artist. So definitely, I'm glad you utilized him. Yeah, this looks fun, Caleb. Now, is there how many issues are you planning? Are you just going to keep going, or is it?
So I have. So 2 and 3 are coming out, and then I have 5. Like in the beginning, I plotted out 5 stories. I've been kicking around like a 6 in my head. So I think I'm going to go for 5 and just kind of see where things are at. Like if people want more, I'm happy to keep making it as long as people keep.
This is fun, like an old like
the
ad in the comic,
the hostess ads.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. So yeah, this looks great. I like how the ball looks real too.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, that's good, man. It looks fun. I'll share the link out again, as we wrap up. For people to check this out. But yeah, it looks good. And that's you. It'll probably be live by tomorrow. Would you say?
I would hope for tonight, but yeah, if not, then definitely
Gotcha.
tomorrow. And,
what are you doing for a goal for the second issue?
So last time it was 1,000 and we got to 1,300. So this time it'll be 2,000. And hopefully, we crack some of the stretch goals too. But yeah, we'll see. Just because it's 2 issues, figured it'd be easy to just double the.
Yeah, because you can do the catch-up tier and things like that. You can do the digital bundle with both issues, things like that. What are you offering for perks? Anything unique? Are you going to do a ball? You should do a ball.
That's everyone keeps asking me to do that. And,
gotta do the bouncy ball, man.
I know I've been looking into it.
You could probably do. Could you find there's got to be a place that will do a rubber ball where you can put the logo on it.
Like a stress ball or something.
Stress ball or something like that. Hell, you could even glue some. You could break some action figures, glue their head on it or something.
I've looked into getting bouncy balls, and all the companies there, you have to order 1,000 or 10,000 to get these.
That's a little tough, then.
So for a stretch goal, I think if people want, and then I think I was just on
It's good if you're in this for the long term, maybe, how much does 1,000 cost? Is it a cup? Is it $200-$300?
It's cheap per unit because you're ordering so many, but it's.
You could look at it as part a promo that you'd have, giveaway for conventions or, and it could be a perk too, I don't know.
Joking on I did Wednesday night reviews before, and I was joking we should just release all of them, in the city and just create
just roll it down the street.
PR in that way.
Tell people it's got lottery numbers on it or something.
Yeah, back up. People. Probably back up traffic. They can start reading while they're stuck.
That's great. What did my wife say here? She could do a Bouncy Ball Man Pog. That's not a bad idea.
Oh, the little things.
Yeah. And what did she say? Get one of those magician foam collapsing balls so you can squash them for shipping. Are you talking? Yeah, I don't know what exactly she's talking about there. Like
the foam ones that are you can basically they'll crunch flat.
Oh yeah, remember these the bouncing balls you could
send it for media mail.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great idea. I've never heard of those.
Yeah, the bouncing balls that people could. I remember those when I was a kid. Remember those, Johnny? Were those bouncing balls? They were pretty big, though. I don't know if they
sitting.
Yeah, it was a sit and bounce or something. It was kind of. I don't know. I don't know if anyone makes those anymore, though. That would probably be really expensive, But I don't know. You've got to. I think you could do something with a ball. Definitely, just finding that right price.
The possibilities are endless there.
Yeah,
I know. That's the one comment that everyone keeps bringing up is they want actual bouncy balls. So it'll happen one day.
Yeah, or stress ball. I think is a good one. I would say Google something like that, customized stress ball or something, because they must sell that where a company. I've seen that before. A company puts their logo on a stress ball, So it's just a matter of how much that costs, though,
Right.
So both these projects look great, guys. So
thank you.
We're hitting about the 90-minute mark, which is crazy. It doesn't feel like we've been talking that long, but I'm going to start to slowly wrap up here. There was something my wife said earlier in the chat about AI that I wanted to circle back on that I thought was a great point. This one, copyright? She said, I wonder how we will look back at the era of AI art. Will it age well, or will we look at it the way we look back at CGI in movies from the early mid 2000s and notice the issues? And we notice the issues with the CGI. I think that's an interesting point, because I wonder if that will be the same way with the AI or not. I mean, thoughts?
It's possible. Yeah. I mean, I know that even I or a lot of people will look back at or I show my kids movies because they're used to, Avengers type CGI now and Marvel movies. And if I show them something from 10, 15 years ago, like, oh my God, you like this? I'm like, yeah, this is what was cool. This was what was fun when I was your age. So yeah, we all look at something old and go, oh, we cringe, So I can see that happening. I'll probably look at issue 1 or maybe all the issues in a couple of years and go, God, why did I actually produce these? It's very possible.
Yeah, it happens. I think even with any comics that we've done, like I look at my early stuff and I'm like, so yeah, it's interesting. Any other thoughts on AI before we kind of wrap that up? Or
I feel like it's going to be a thing where once it, kind of becomes a function of this thing right here, your cell phone, that's where it will become mainstream and take off and everybody will be using it. When kids can, basically use a filter to, basically make your daily thing look like a movie instantly, that's probably where it will, it'll take off, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be open to trying the writing thing stuff. You were mentioning, Johnny.
I'll send you a link and some examples and stuff.
Yeah, send me a link.
I've been more well prepared with my examples, but like I just had such a spooky experience communicating with the thing and talking about like movies and then breaking story ideas. It was just spooky.
Yeah, it is. It's weird, right? Because it's
a little bit.
I'm talking to a computer right now. It's odd. Any other thoughts on either of your projects that you guys wanted to mention before we start wrapping things up?
I actually didn't pitch the book. We talked about AI, so if I can just throw out the
pitch
of it. I didn't think about that.
Randall.
That's fine. There was a great discussion. I was like, oh, I actually didn't talk about the book.
So
the main characters, the planet that they're from was devastated in a great war with an alien race called the Threxus. And that race siphons energy as well as your dreams, and left the planet kind of with nightmares, and it's kind of how they overtake them. After a very long war, the planet is devastated and dying, basically. And the main character named Jessica Antilles, she puts together this crew on their last vessel in their armada to go try to find a new home, a new planet, and they are using one of the Threxus aliens on the vessel as an energy source. And they're traveling dimensions. They're not just, staying within their planet realm. They're traveling to other dimensions. And of course, it's, obviously things are going to go wrong. They have this alien on the ship, but there's also a mystery to it because there might be a traitor on board. And so there's different things that are going to happen. I'm planning on, it's supposed to be 4-issue story. I think that's probably all I can handle. By the time I'm done with those 4 issues, I'll probably be asking why the hell I did this. But it's going to the hopefully fun. I'm really enjoying it so far.
I think you got a good setup.
I feel like by the time you get to issue 4, like the whole process with AI would have changed, Randall. You know what I mean? Yeah. You just have to stay like ahead of that curve as you go, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, then that'll be good because it looks, like sometimes when you look at an artist's early work and then your later stuff is so much better, it could turn out the same way, if you think about it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Alan Moore's Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah, right.
What's that? I didn't hear you said.
Oh, yeah, Alan Moore used to write for Kool-Aid Man. I was just going, that early stuff.
Hey, I like the Kool-Aid Man, right? No, but I think that sounds like a good setup for a story. I'll definitely check it out.
Appreciate it.
Definitely.
I saw that Johnny already backed it, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. I'm looking forward to getting the full copy.
Cool.
Awesome. And Caleb, did you have anything else you wanted to add that we didn't touch upon?
Yeah, issues 2 and 3. Kind of touched on it before, like issue 1's kind of the origin story. It's dealing with him getting this new corporate superhero gig and his feelings on that. And issue 2 and 3 is him still dealing with that, but also kind of delving more into his relationships with people around him, his talent agent, his daughter, possibly some returning villains. I don't know. You might have to keep reading to find out.
Awesome. Let me share the link for Randall's Kickstarter here. And then also I will share the link for the free issue number 1 on Global Comics.
Yep.
All you need is
I saved that and followed you.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'll get updates when you release something. And the audience out there tonight, you're launching tonight, right?
Yes,
so keep your eye out. It's going to pop up online any moment now.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, once it goes live, message me and I'll add it to.
We'll do. Appreciate.
I'll add it to the description here so people can find it easier. Where can people find you guys? Like, what's your socials? Where are you mostly active? That kind of thing.
I'm more active on Facebook. I have a Twitter account that I really beat to death for Whitaker Knox, but I've stayed off Twitter for this because I just expect too much backlash. So like I said, I just wanted to do a small print run and also see how AI was accepted. My goal was just $200. There's nobody to pay. I didn't put any money into it besides my monthly amount. So I wasn't trying to make money off of this. I just wanted to be able to print some books, basically.
And it's like, and you killed it too, which you got to
smash that goal.
Well. I haven't really, I mean, promotion's just been on Facebook and now with you guys. So
awesome.
Nice.
Cool.
And how about you, Caleb? Where are you most active?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. Use Twitter more, at Caleb Zoo Crew, which was made in high school when I wore Zoo York sweatshirts. So slightly regret that, but that's what I'm at.
I'm glad Twitter wasn't around when I was in high school, or else I would have been Keith OP guy.
Talk about old shames from before.
Right.
Looking for your old social media, it's awful.
But now it's like you have a fan base there, so you can't change it now. Right. That's the worst. But at least it's kind of vague enough that, like, because I saw that and I was like, wonder why is
it's God.
It's just, awesome. How about you, Johnny? Anything you want to shout out before we head out of here?
People can find me in Fraggle Rock, down in Fraggle Rock. I actually, so one update is that even though I got declined for C2E2 Artist Alley, I got an invite from a collaborator friend. So I will be at C2E2 after all in Artist Alley. We don't have our table number yet, but we'll let you know.
Is it March? When is that show?
March. Last weekend of March, first weekend of April.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
So I'll see you then, Chicago.
Awesome.
Also, make sure you back Caleb and Randall's projects. Awesome awesome projects you guys brought to the table. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to share it with us. We really appreciate having you guys on. And definitely come back in the future.
Thank you so much for
with great discussion too tonight about AI. I think there's a lot of weirdness and misconception there. It's good to talk to people that have actually used it and because I hadn't heard about any of the limitations or anything like that. So that's kind of cool to know. And I love hearing your experiences. I'll probably take a lot of that conversation and make like little videos with it to share it out there. And I'll definitely share your links as well when I do that. So that other people can kind of discover AI and kind of make, decide what they want to do with it. But I also want to reiterate what Johnny said, and thank you guys for both coming on the show. Definitely check out both of their projects. I just shared the links in the comments, and the links will be in the video if you're watching this at a later date. Also, if you got any money left over, check out Mighty Mascots 7, 8, and 9. Still live on Indiegogo. And that's pretty much it. Anybody have any final words before we close out tonight's live stream?
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. No. Thanks, guys. All right, everybody. We'll have a great week. Me and Johnny will be back in 2 weeks on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. I forget who the guest is. I never looked that far ahead. So, but we have guests. So join us in 2 weeks, and we will talk to you later. Read some comics, everybody.
Be excellent to one another.
Good night, everybody.
Whether you're human or AI.